You know that feeling, right? Like you're running on a treadmill, you're busy all day long, but you end up in the exact same spot. Well, you're definitely not alone. Today we're going to break down Brad Young's framework to help you stop spinning your wheels and finally start taking back control of your most valuable resource, your time.
So let's just dive right in with a question that probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of us. Are you constantly running around with a to-do list that's a mile long, but when the day is done, you feel like you haven't actually moved the needle on what truly matters? It's that awful feeling of motion without progress, isn't it?
And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. See, Brad Young makes this critical distinction. Being busy is just being tangled up in tasks. It's motion. But being productive, well, that's about getting results. It's about progress. And honestly, just getting your head around this simple difference is the first huge step to changing everything.
Okay, so to break the cycle, we have to understand what's actually causing it. What are these hidden forces that keep us stuck in that busy but not productive trap? Let's peel back the layers.
So Young points to a few key culprits that kind of trap us in this quicksand of busy work. First up, if you don't have clear goals, you're just drifting. Then, of course, you've got the constant pings and notifications from digital distractions, and that siren call of procrastination. We tell ourselves we can multitask, but really, that's just a myth that shatters our focus. And underneath it all, just plain old fatigue, which makes concentrating feel impossible. Sound familiar?
I love the term Young uses here, time thieves. He doesn't just call them distractions. He frames them as active criminals that are literally stealing your focus and productivity. When you think of that social media notification not as a little interruption, but as a pickpocket trying to steal your most valuable asset, it really changes your perspective, doesn't it?
All right, enough about the problem. Let's start building the solution. And the foundation, the absolute bedrock of taking back your time, is simple, but it is non-negotiable. You have to know where you're going.
And this is where we move from just having vague wishes to having concrete plans. We do this by using SMART goals. That stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So Get Healthier becomes, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week for the next month. See the difference? One is a wish floating in the clouds, the other is a map you can actually follow. Now, this next idea, this is a total game changer. It's called the Pareto principle. You might know it as the 80-20 rule. And the idea is shockingly simple. For a lot of things in life, 80% of the results come from just 20% of the effort. Think about it in your own life. You probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time, right? It's everywhere. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find that vital 20%. Instead of staring at your massive to-do list and wondering, how am I going to get all this done, you need to ask a different question. Which one or two of these things will create 80% of the value? It's not about doing more. It's about doing more of what matters.
And here's an amazing tool to put that idea into practice. It's the Eisenhower matrix. You take every single task and ask 2 simple questions. Is it important and is it urgent? This little grid gives you a clear action for everything. You either do it, plan it, delegate it, or just eliminate it. It's so clarifying.
And here's the secret sauce that Young points to. Most of us, we live our lives in quadrants 1 and 3. The urgent stuff, always putting out fires. But real, long-term success and happiness, that lives in quadrant 2. The important, but not urgent stuff. Things like exercise, learning a new skill, spending quality time with family. They don't scream for your attention, so you have to be intentional about making time for them.
Okay, so now we know what to do. The next battle is actually, well, doing it. How do we fight that little voice inside that's always saying, I'll do it later? Let's open up the toolkit.
All right, our first tool in this fight against procrastination is surprisingly simple. It all comes down to one number, 2. This is what's known as the 2-minute rule. And trust me, it's way more powerful than it sounds.
Just think about all those tiny little tasks that clutter up your mind in your to-do list. Answering that one email, putting a dish in the dishwasher, making that quick phone call. The rule is simple. If it takes less than 2 minutes, you do it right now. You don't write it down, you don't think about it, you just do it. It's like a mental declutter, and it gives you these tiny little wins that build momentum for the bigger stuff.
Okay, now for those bigger, scarier tasks, we bring out the Pomodoro technique. It's brilliant. Instead of staring at a huge project that feels impossible, you just commit to working on it for 25 minutes, a focused sprint. That's it. Anybody can do 25 minutes, right? And those little breaks in between, they're mandatory.
They let your brain reset so you don't burn out.
You know, sometimes the real battle isn't with the task itself, it's with our own minds. Procrastination usually isn't about laziness. It's a mask for something deeper, like a fear of failure or that crushing weight of perfectionism. The only way to really break free is to drill this one idea into your head: progress over perfection. A messy start is so much better than a perfect plan you never actually begin.
So let's move on to the final piece of this puzzle. How do we make all these changes actually stick? Because this isn't about quick fixes. It's about building a system for success that works for you day in and day out.
To make a change last, you got to understand how habits work. And it's basically this simple 3-step loop. There's a cue, a routine, and a reward. So for a bad habit, the cue might be your phone buzzing. The routine is you mindlessly scrolling social media. And the reward is that little dopamine hit. The secret isn't just about willpower. It's about re-engineering this loop to build the habits you actually want.
And one of the easiest ways to do that is to just shape your environment. You want to make good habits the path of least resistance. You want to eat healthier? Put a bowl of fruit right there on the counter. You want to read more? Leave a book on your pillow. And for bad habits, you do the opposite. You add friction. If you waste too much time on your phone, charge it in a different room. Make it harder to do the wrong thing.
And this brings us to what might be the most powerful idea of all: atomic habits. It's about small, tiny gains that compound over time. Working out for just 15 minutes a day doesn't feel like much, but over a year, it's transformative. The goal is consistency, not intensity. So get a calendar, put a big X on every day you do your habit, and just follow one simple rule: don't break the chain.
Look, at the end of the day, all these ideas and techniques are great, but if they just stay as ideas in your head, they're completely useless. The real change doesn't happen from listening to this. It happens from what you decide to do next.
So that's the real question, isn't it? What is one small thing you can do right now? Are you going to write down your top priority for tomorrow? Are you going to use that 2-minute rule on an email you've been putting off? The journey to taking back your time, it doesn't start with a giant leap. It starts with one small step. So, what's yours going to